In this special section, we're looking at find percent of change. The goal is to solve percent of change problems. Your percent of change, it means how much a quantity increases or decreases with respect to the original amount. So we're talking about percent of increase versus percent of decrease. The percent of increase is the percent of change, and the new amount is greater than the original amount. And then the opposite of that is the percent of decrease, which is the percent of change if the new amount is less than the original amount. We're talking about percent of change, P percent. That's given by the amount of increase or decrease divided by the original amount. If we're talking about the amount of increase, we are talking about taking the new amount minus the original amount. And then we're talking about amount of decrease. We take the original amounts minus the new amounts. So in example 1, we're trying to find a percent of change. Here we're identify the percent of change as an increase or decrease, and then find the percent of change. So in part A, the original is 160, the new is 128. So as you can see, if we're going from 160 to 128, that is going to represent the percent of change is a decrease. So here we take 160 minus 128 divided by the original amount, which is 160. So in this case, we're going to get 32 divided by 160. If you simplify that and represent that as a decimal, you get 0.2, which is 20%. So the percent of decrease is 20%. If we look at the other problem, the original is 75. And then we get a new value of 120. So you can see that this represents the percent of change is an increase. So in this case, you would take 120 minus 75 divided by 75. And now we get 45 divided by 75. And if you represent that as a decimal, you get 0.6. So we get 60%. So the percent of increase is 60%. Moving to the checkpoints. Here they want you to find the percent of change. So for problem number 1, we can see that this is decrease, going from 360 to 54. So you would take 360 minus 54, and then divide that by 360. Simplifying this and rewriting this as a decimal, you get 85% decrease. Number 2, you've got the original 140 going to 189. We can see that's an increase. So here you take 189 minus 140 divided by 140. And if you simplify that, you do get 35%. And this does represent an increase. Number 3, you've got the original amount being 10, the new amount being 19. So you can see that this is also an increase. Take 19 minus 10, divide that by 10, and if you simplify that, put that as a percent, you get 90%, which is an increase. And then for the last one, you've got the original amount being 13, and then the new amount being 11.83. So take 13 minus 11.83, and then divide that by 13. And we do get 9%. And since we have 13 going to 11.83, we're going down to 11.83, this will represent a decrease. looking at the application problem, find a new amount. Find the sale price of a jacket if the original amount is $124 and the discount is 30% off. The sale price is a decrease from the original price, so we can multiply the original price by 100% minus p%. So the sale price is now given by 124 times 100% minus 30%. We can now subtract and write as a decimal. All right, so now we get 124 times the quantity of 100% minus 30%, which is 70%, and 70% as a decimal is 0.70. And if you simplify that, you do get 86.8. So the sale price of the jacket is $86.80. Another way you can solve the problem is this. You can take the original price minus the original price times the percent off, in which case you're going to take 124 minus the original price 124 times the percent off, which is 30%. If you're doing it this way, make sure again you have your percent as a decimal. You're taking 124 minus 124 times 0.30, and again you're going to get $86.80. So just another way to work the problem if you choose to do it that way. All right, doing the checkpoints, find the new amount. For 5, you increase 34 by 18%. So you can take 34 plus 34 times 0.18. And now we get 34 plus 6.12. And that equals 40.12. So if you increase 34 by 18%, you get 40.12. If you don't want to do it that way, you could do it this way. You could take 34 times the quantity of 100% plus 18%, and now we get 34 times 118%. That as a decimal is 34 times 1.18, and you still get 40.12. So just like the application problem, you can do it that way. 6, a store is advertising televisions on sale for 45% off. If the original price was $655, what is the sale price? Again, we can set that up 2 ways. You can take $655 minus 655 times 0.45. If you do the math on this one, you're going to get $360.25. Another way to do it is to take 655 times 100% minus 45%, and still get the same results. When you take 100% minus 45%, you get 55%. That as a decimal is 0.55. So essentially you're paying 55% of the original price, so of means to multiply. And when you simplify this, you're still going to get $360.25.